Good morning, guys. How are we all doing? So Dan from Trading with Dan here. Happy Saturday, everybody. Welcome to the weekend. As you can see from the background, there is a lot of red going on, including obviously the super trend indicator in that bottom right hand screen, but yeah, a bit of red going on today, so we'll go straight over to those charts and investigate what is going on in our beloved cryptocurrency land. But yeah, so here we go. We are basically still in this downtrend. You can see we really needed to get that weekly close over 42,000 that I was talking about. Again, apologies with how I'm talking. Basically, the root canal, for some reason, those teeth are now hurting even more. I suspect it's because I had some veneers put on the top teeth, and I think because the guy was digging around my mouth for a few hours, and then leaning on the bottom teeth. I think they've agitated them a bit, so it's a bit worse this morning, or was yesterday as well. Anyway, so yeah, just apologies for how I'm talking. Yeah. So yeah, basically we needed to get those closes over 42,000. We gave it a good shot. This was an admirable chance, an admirable shot on the basis that we'd come all the way up from sub 30,000 to then try and close basically about $15,000 higher. And yeah, we weren't able to do that. You could probably say not surprisingly, because I mean, were we going to have a V shape? Not really. I think I pretty much said we were going to have a V shape. I did think we could try and. I mean, it was a best case scenario, regain 42, and then try and trade out this range. But it does look like the more reasonable scenario is that we're going to potentially trade out this range, and ideally, as long as we are holding, if we look at, say, from this top of this move to the bottom, the midpoint, as long as we're holding above the midpoint, then you guys kind of know that means that we can then potentially get supported there and then move back on onwards. If we lose the midpoint, then realistically we're targeting basically the low and beyond. So holding the midpoint is important, and that is currently what we're doing. But you can see we are basically trading these ranges pretty well. All the way down, we've been respecting realistically the ranges, breaking below, rejected, breaking below, and then the mid ranges rejected as well. So we are basically in a downtrend pretty clearly. So obviously at some point this downtrend will turn around. As to from what level and how high it will go, who will knows. But we are currently very clearly in a downtrend. As you can see, we never really that downward sloping trend line we didn't actually leave in the chart yesterday. We never managed to get back above. Obviously, never managed to get back above the horizontal. And yeah, here we find ourselves. After all the effort the bulls could muster, keeping us up here. Eventually the bears got the better of them, and pulled us all the way down. But like I said, though, this is the best case scenario, I believe, was closing above 42. The worst case scenario is obviously is us trading and closing below 35. And the reasonable case scenario is we consolidate basically between 35 and 42. Well, with a view to eventually building some confidence back in this market to then take out the 42. Obviously, we don't want to consolidate here and then drop down even further, but we have dropped down very far from the high. So if we are to lose 35k and come down, it does look increasingly like we basically will be in a Bitcoin bear market where we will be trading sideways to down for a while. There's not much positives I can put on that other than we're coming down really fast. So we've come down like obviously, this move was obviously over 50%. So realistically, if we're targeting from here down to 20k, that is and you would expect really that be the full-on level of the bear market. We are only looking at like basically about another 40 odd % from where we are now. So I mean. You can say that as good news if you want, but if Bitcoin corrections are like basically that amount, say 70 odd 70+ %, if we do take it from high to low, from basically the high down to about 20, well, roughly 20k. And we are looking at about 70%. So we could have one of the most quickest and most savage Bitcoin bear markets in history, straight from top to bottom in like what we're not even on a April, May, June, yeah, a couple of months. We're not even on 2 months yet. Maybe we trade like another month, hit 20k. I don't even want to say it, but yeah, maybe another month, so hit 20k, and we have literally a 3-month bear market from literally with a 70% pullback. And then we recover, trade sideways, and come back up. It is a possibility. Like I said, the only good thing about that is it's done and dusted quickly. So it's like ripping the band-aid off. I'm not saying this is going to happen or even likely to be this scenario, but I mean, if we do start closing below 35k, which we're very close to, and then trade lower, I mean, you're not necessarily going to have to want to bet a lot of money on 30k holding. We then may have to test lower, but like I said, this is a zone where Bitcoin could get caught, but just the savageness and the velocity and the momentum this move down is getting could get us through this level, and then we could be looking towards 20k. So yes, the trend is your friend. Well, the trend is your friend. The trend is the trend's friend, and it is down at the moment. So you'd have to kind of look for more down. But obviously, like I said, if we hold 35 and we can trade in here, great. If we do come lower and we can hold basically 30, then also that is not so bad. And if we can't, then we basically come in all the way down to pretty much a whole bear market correction in the space of a few months, which is pretty wild. But I've always say this, not in every video, but I've always said this: cryptocurrency will continually surprises me with what it does, both to the upside, not necessarily so much now to the downside, because I've seen such wild downside in crypto, but maybe we are going to be surprised to the downside with a big, massive move very quickly, very swiftly, from plus 60 plus K down to 20K, maybe even slightly lower in such a short space of time. Maybe that is going to be the surprise, and then maybe we're going to literally get bought up like an absolute madman into the end of the year, and then maybe end up at 100k, because obviously a 5x from 20k is 100k, and a 5x is actually less than what Bitcoin did from like its sub 10k levels up to plus 60,000. So expect the unexpected, but it is still unexpected when it happens, isn't it? So anyway, that is all the that is the bearishness talk aside. I mean, like I said, we're in a downtrend. I mean, if you want to get moving up, we've got to take out 42. That is our new lower high, our new level to actually signify a bull trend. Also, it is just the same level that we've been looking at before. It also gets us above this high here, gets us looking good again. Like I said, I was never expecting a V shape. It was a bit much to ask, but I was hoping we could close over 42 and consolidate in this level. Would have been especially bullish. Well, it would have been better. It wouldn't necessarily have been bullish until then we make progress from there. But if we are to consolidate, and do have to consolidate in the 35 to 42 region, that is good. If we can hold this level, this is good. If we can hold this level, basically, this is good. If this is as low as we come, maybe get some wicks below like we've done. But if we generally hold this level and move back up, trade sideways for a bit, form a base here, it is good. It is good because, well, basically it means we're not coming down to 20k. So that's how I would kind of look at this. But yeah, I mean, sideways in here. We've obviously tested lower again. We tested obviously lower the first time. Sideways, maybe a few more tests lower, maybe a few more tests above, and then yeah, we can start to get that momentum upwards. As I have shown in a lot of the bear market pullbacks, when you kind of pull the screen across to here, then the rest of the market that catapults upwards, you can't see it. They do look very droopy. They do look very bearish. They do look very much like the bull run's over. And yeah, I mean, this is basically what this is starting to look like, which is typical of Bitcoin bull market pullback sell-offs. I mean, it is not easy trading. Trading cryptocurrency is especially difficult. And these moves literally will make you think that this is it, it's over, sell, sell, sell. I mean, this is literally what they're designed to do. Yeah, there basically what I'm trying to say. There are positive spins that you can put onto this crazy price action to then kind of make yourself feel better. I mean, if we go over to 2017, just to kind of show you how some of those pullbacks do look in the bull market. We're not even getting back far enough here, are we? Let's get back. Yes, so here we go. Here is the illustrious 2016-2017 bull market. That was pretty epic. I mean, like, we will just have a look so you can just kind of see how this kind of looks in real time. We could start literally from the beginning of it in 2016. I mean, this was looking pretty dire, wasn't it? This is looking like it's over. But yeah, there we go. And if we could just keep scrolling along, yeah, grinding upwards, and then yeah, I mean, it's looking like it's done, isn't it? It looks like we can potentially, I mean, especially at this point, it looks like a double top, and we're coming down. But I mean, but particularly here, it looks like, right, bear market. We're going into a prolonged bear market. Maybe we get a bit of a pullback and then come back, and then come back down. Again, I mean, this is clearly not looking good, is it? This is not looking like a bull market at all. As this is clearly looking like bull market over. We stall out there, but yeah, then we do continue upwards. Oh, I didn't know about the shift. We'll just edit that along. There you go. Again up here, I mean, this is very bad. This looks like what we've got going on now. This looks very much like what we've going on now. This looks like bull market over for sure. Looks like bull market over. And when I say we're coming back down to maybe test 20k, this is the equivalent here. And it does look like this is going to come down here. This fully looks like bull market over. This looks especially this should be quite positive, because this does look like what we're going on now. But there we go, guys. There's what happens. We have obviously we have another similar one here. I mean, it's like, fair enough. I mean, if this is what we're going on now. If this is what we've got going on now, and then people think, right, we're going to have one last leg up. Please give me one last leg up. Please, I want one last leg up to sell, retire from cryptocurrency, and done. You do that. We get this leg up. You're selling. We start to come back down. You think, wow, what a trading genius I am. What a great move. I'm out of crypto. I bought myself a £1 million villa in Mallorca. And then you're done and dusted, and then you just take a look back at the charts, and you're like, oh gosh, look, onwards and onwards and onwards and upwards. I mean, again though, we're looking like we're pulling back here, looking like we're attempting to break this structure, come back down. Don't forget, this is a prolonged bull market. These pullbacks are looking pretty bad, and then there we get our big, massive pump up. Literally from these levels here, basically nearly a 3x. 21k would be a 3x from 7k. Up to about 20k, and then we are finally done. We finally see that price action again that we have seen so many times. We look at anything, well, I've seen this many times, and we've continued onwards and upwards, except for this time we don't. So how many times did we continue upwards, and how many times did we not? Obviously, it was only one time that we did not. So is this going to be that one time that we do not, or is this just going to be one of those pullbacks that literally, look, in real time, like we showed you before, multiple occasions in real time, make it look like the bull market is fully over? Is this going to be one of those occasions? I mean, you would, if you had to guess, you would have to say it most likely is, because it's only going to not be on one occasion. One occasion will be the end of the trend. And if you're going to pick any particular one to be the end, don't forget, this is our first real major big pullback in this whole move realistically. This is our first one. So do you think the first one is going to be it? One and done, that is it? Or do you actually think we're going to potentially get, well, are we going to get 2, maybe 3 of these pullbacks in a parabolic move to the upside? Because if we are, I mean, that is going to take us up to about 250k. And maybe when I say, give us one last leg up, get us to that 100k. I'm gonna cash out. I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna be done. Then look back at see how crypto is doing a few months later, maybe 4 or 5 months later, and then see us at 250k. Is that gonna happen? So anyway, so this has been a bit of a random video this morning, but we have properly looked at the downside, and I have tried to balance it out with properly looking at what potentially we've got going on to the upside. So yeah, just a bigger picture view there. Ethereum, Bitcoin getting hammered, as you can see. Obviously a dead cat bounce here. We are back below this trend line, back below this horizontal. So Ethereum, Bitcoin just need to try and recover here. Or this is a target that we had been talking about as another level before. 0.053 is a level to potentially come back to, but really, if it does that, I mean, again, it's sort of breaking the upward structure. This is the limits of where it could come down to, and then continue up and look good. If we come down to here, probably not looking as good, but ultimately we are waiting, I think, for Bitcoin to sort of stabilize and move back up. Even then, this could get hit as Bitcoin starts to recover quick. But I mean, I do suspect in the environment at the moment that alts would quickly take a bid if Bitcoin does start to stabilize. So it wouldn't necessarily be the case that Bitcoin would catapult on up and alts wouldn't be able to keep up. Bitcoin dominance, we spoke about this yesterday, had a nice pullback, but was so far from looking like we'll continue on with the trend. It did look like it basically could very easily continue up, which it did. So here we go, back up here. So we just have to monitor. Obviously, we're at an important level here. I mean, we'll draw this horizontal on. This is an important level looking back. These are important levels, obviously looking back a long time. These are important levels looking back at recent price action. So yeah, these are more zones. I like drawing zones, but yeah, we'll just put it there. Roughly speaking, this is the level where we can look into get rejected at, and if not, then we've got the next target, which would be the trend line. Dollar index had a little bit of a pullback, but nothing major, nothing to write home about. Again, this does look like it's just prepping for another move down, but we shall see. Remember the acronyms, the ABD, anything but dollar, and the MMT, magic money tree. This is all gonna push this down. Stock markets not looking so bad, back above this 1.618 after testing below a couple of times, putting in some higher lows, but the same high. So are we forming in a sort of ascending triangle? But either way, it just shows that there is buying pressure, as there will always be until there isn't. Stock markets will always go up until they crash. So there we go. Obviously, we'd had a period of low vol, and then that expanded into high vol, and then we will potentially go into low vol, which low vol usually has an upward bias because low vol implies less risk. Therefore, more people can put more money in. Therefore, you go to the upside. That's why volatility indicators are used a lot to basically determine the direction. I.e., like when the VIX goes down, i.e., volatility literally goes down. That's bullish for markets. So anything else you want to look at? Gold, not the gold silver ratio. Gold silver ratio, as you can see, moving up, which obviously shows that gold is catching that bid now. Well, it has been catching that bid, but it's now kind of what's happening is it's looking like gold is now breaking out of this downward trend line. So it does look like gold is not going to underperform as it has been doing. At which point, obviously, silver, which is still performing okay. Actually, it's eased off a little bit. So basically, what we've got going on is that silver's always not been looking so bad, looking like it's going to make a move. Gold has been looking quite bad. But it is now looking a lot better. So obviously that is catching a bid against the gold is obviously catching a bid relative against silver. But either way, these guys will sort of pass on the baton and move, keep swapping on the way up. If silver does get a good, if gold does get a good move up and go basically, this is gold silver ratio. If gold does get a good, start to get a good move up here, basically. This level we're at now, as you can see, is an important level into this zone, and then above basically. This 1964 level, yeah, gold will accelerate. Well, it's already accelerating. Well, gold will be looking basically bullish, and there will be a strong bid coming to this market. And at that point, obviously, silver will also start to get moving particularly fast also. So things are lining up for these precious metals, obviously in conjunction with the dollar looking potentially weaker as well. So interesting times, particularly for crypto. Like I've said, all is not lost. If we do lose these levels, it does look like we're pretty quickly going to come down to 20k in all fairness. And I think that would be enough to flush out whoever needs to be flushed out, and then we can then continue upwards. But the ideal scenario is we do hold this level, continue up, and this just does look like one of the typical moves down, albeit a bit more aggressive than previous bull markets. But hey, this market will surprise you. And yeah, and then we will just continue upwards for another leg where people, including myself, are thinking just give us that one leg up, get us to 100k, and I'm out and I'm done. And then we have another pullback, maybe to around this top, maybe to around the 60k level, and then we catapult upward to 250k. Maybe that is what is about to transpire over the net rest of the year. Who knows? But yeah, that is it, guys. Thank you for listening. Thanks for bearing with my my ability to speak. Hopefully that should get better soon. But yeah, thanks for listening, and I shall speak to you guys soon.